Welcome to Tuesday Review Sunrise Arcade Surprise Crossover, live on 98.9 Northwest FM.
How's it going?
How's it going, guys? I'm joined by, I'm Nathan, as always, joined by Callum, Alum, and James. How you going, guys?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, so we're a bit of a late start, but that's okay. It's been a while since we've talked about video games.
It has, and there's been some good stuff happening, some bad stuff happening.
Well, first off, we'll go around. What have we all been playing? All right, I'll start, I suppose. I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because the third one just came out. I thought I enjoyed number 2, but a little bit, like there's always something else that draws your attention. You always play something. I'm like, I'm a guy that'll play 10 different things and I get distracted, and so I've gone back to number 2 to play it because I really enjoyed it. And number 3 is apparently even better. So I'm playing that at the moment, and I'm playing.
How old is it now?
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years old maybe.
Okay.
It's a Nintendo Switch game.
Yeah.
And the third one just came out. And I've been playing Borderlands on my Xbox.
The original one?
The original Borderlands.
I only played the first one. I never finished it. Not because it was bad. I just didn't have time, and then I gave up.
It's also, it can be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been playing that with Callum. And I've been playing the Yakuza games, the Japanese crime story.
Yeah.
Told over like 8 games.
Yeah, there's a lot of them now.
I finished Yakuza 0.
Mm.
And now I'm on to Yakuza Kiwami 1, which is like a remastered version of the first game.
Okay.
With like modern gameplay graphics, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Alright. What have you been playing? Anything interesting, James?
Well, actually, it's interesting because, this episode wasn't planned, and we were just like, hey, let's talk about video games because Alan's here and we have this extra time slot. I was going to save this for the main show, but then, like, other things
it doesn't
happened.
have to be games.
No,
It's just
but that's what I'm saying. This is very game related, but it's the perfect time to bring it up. So when we were on hiatus a few weeks ago, when was that, June or July? Well, most of July we're on hiatus, right? I can't remember now. Time has lost all meaning.
Because COVID, yeah.
Time has lost all meaning. So when we were on the hiatus, I was just like, not E3. It was like E3, but not A3.
Yeah. Yeah, what they call it, Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, that happened, and there are all these games announced, and for the last few months, I haven't been playing any games at all. I just don't have any time. There's too much shows and movies to watch. But all these games, I'm like, there's all these ones I'm really excited about. And especially there's a game called Scorn. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer.
I know of Scorn.
It's like a weird...
Yeah, it's coming out soon. Coming out in October, I think.
Yeah, like HR Giga, like alien...
First-person shooter game, yeah.
Biomechanical first... It's like right up my alley. I'm like, I need this game. I've been following it since it was announced years and years ago. I'm like, take my money. I need it. So it comes out in October, and I'm like, well, I need to get because I got the Xbox One X. I need to save up for the Series X. But the Series X and the PS5 obviously have both been very hard to find. There's like very limited stock. You have to, you have to wait around trying to find which EB in which state has one left in
I
stock.
could scalp you one.
No. This is just
Alan,
the beginning.
James doesn't want to pay $1,000 for his Xbox.
It's a modest $50 scalping fee.
But this is where my story, because I'm like, okay, so I have till October, so when all those games start coming out, to save up, and I'll subscribe to one of those Twitter bots where it finds places that has a Series X in stock, and then I'll pre-order it when I save up enough money. Like a couple days later, everywhere gets them in stock. EB, JB, everyone's got them in stock. And I happen to have an EB gift voucher from my birthday, which I generally don't go to EB because they're overpriced.
You can price match, but it's...
Yeah.
Depending on the employee you get, it can be difficult.
Yeah. But, I had this voucher. I'm like, I'm probably never going to use it, or I might use it on something down the road. But I'm like, so I already have a $100 voucher for EB. So that gives me $100 off a Series X if I pre-order at EB Games. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know when the next time they're going to be in stock is.
Yeah, especially coming up to Christmas.
Yeah. So like I took my old 1X and I took my voucher and I went and I traded it in and I got a Series X. And I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
Okay. And they say, it'll take till the end of July or the end of August to come. Not even 2 days later, they call me up. They're like, it's here.
Nice.
I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Nice.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
So
nice.
I go there, I take my Xbox One X, my voucher, and I trade it in, and I get like $300 off or something. So I basically got a Series X for half price.
Not bad.
Yeah, no.
So I'm like, considering I didn't have the money and I don't have the time to play games, I think I made the right choice. Like, it all worked out, if that makes sense. Now the problem is I don't have time to play. So
Well, you do.
Well, yeah, it depends on like what I'm prioritizing. You know, like if there's always shows coming out, so I want to binge shows. But then it's just like, well, if I stop doing that, then I can play more games. But then I'm like, what game do I play? Because games are a longer investment than movies or most shows.
Just pick games that appeal to you. Like I don't touch Elden Ring. Like I'm not interested in the Souls games.
Elden Ring is a long term.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. It's not a video game.
No, exactly. Like I want to play games like that, but I don't have the time to invest in.
Just have a look at game. Have you had Games Pass before?
No, it's not worth it for me because I don't have time to play.
You can. There's like $2 for the intro thing for like 3 months. Pay $2.
Yeah, but I'll pay $2 and 3 months ago past, and I'll play like an hour of games.
It depends on the type of games you're interested in playing, right? So if you're only interested in playing sweeping epics, which will take you 200 hours, then maybe video games aren't for you anymore. But there are games on Games Pass which take 15 hours, and you can play over a weekend, a couple weekends.
I'm more interested in single player story-driven experiences, which most can be done, 10, 15 hours. So it's like, that's okay, but still it'll take me weeks. To finish it, which is not a problem. It's just, once you play, like I got No Man's Sky because I'm like, that's a game I can pick up and put down at any point.
Yeah.
And I don't have to put any real amount of.
Well, I think for a lot of people, video games are a weekend activity.
But that's what I've been doing. Is I've been playing like an hour on every Saturday.
Yeah.
And like. Over the last few weeks, I've just been playing like 1 hour here, 1 hour there.
Yeah.
And it's, it adds up, but it's just like, it's not in any meaningful way. So like I could put the whole day session and just bang out a game, like a short game or something.
I would suggest throw the $2 at Games Pass because when you sort of sign up, you get that offer. Yeah. But there's a lot of we'll say story
games.
There's like a new game. Was it As Dusk Falls? Something like that.
Yeah.
Where that's like a new single player story game, right? But it's more in the vein of a film.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's like, have you ever played the what were they called? Man of Medan type games.
The Dark Picture Anthology.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's kind of like
it's not a horror game, but it's similar in.
Yeah.
It's a game, but it plays out like a film. And there's all kinds of stuff like that on the Games Pass, which might be worth it just for you to see.
I think another problem is I got such a huge pile of shame. Like all these games I bought.
The backlog.
Yeah, that I haven't played. I'm like, I got to get through some of these.
Welcome to the club, my friend.
Yeah. No, you guys are way ahead of me, and but you know what I mean. Like I've spent so much money on all these games I haven't even opened. I'm like, well, I got to get through some of these. But then my other thing is because I have such little time to play, and it's already August, and these new games I want to play, especially Scorn, come out in October, and so it's like anything I play, I kind of have to wrap it up in a month or two.
Look, there's no shame in just dropping a game for a while, playing in a game you want to play, and then coming back to your old games. Like,
yeah, it's just
I used to feel guilty about that exact thing, right?
Yeah.
I'd be like. And I still do to an extent. I can't play this game because I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but then when Elden Ring came out, I was like, you know what, honestly, I don't care. I'm going to play Elden Ring.
Yeah, but it's not even guilt. It's just like, what do I want to, deciding what do I want to invest my time in, and logistically, when do I have time to play this? And
it's hard keeping up with all your hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, not to mention all life stuff and work around. So it's just like, because my things are mainly movies. I try to watch as
yeah.
many movies as I can, and then there's so many shows coming out all the time, and
it gets overwhelming with just movies and TV.
yeah. So like I've been trying to like schedule it. Like Saturday morning, I just play video games.
So what have you been playing at the moment?
Just No Man's Sky.
Just
because
No Man's
it's literally like I don't have to remember the story. I don't have to engage with anything other than just like I get to mine resources.
There's a lot going on in No Man's Sky now.
It's
too.
also
They've just had a new
it's also relatively endless.
That's the thing.
So if you want a game you want to wrap up, maybe that's not the one.
No, but I knew I was never going to finish it. It's just something
persistent,
to play.
but
It'd be so because I just got this new system. I'm like I might as well play something. And
I bet it looks good.
It looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if anyone's been following No Man's Sky, they know that when it came out, it was a disaster. And over the years, it's been built up.
Didn't they like just get like basically a sequel-sized update, something like that, like in recent weeks?
It's not the same game it was at launch.
Yeah, but I will say, like, having not played it at launch, like, I'm not sure what the differences are. So, for me, just playing the game, I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
I did play it at launch, and the game was basically just go from planet to planet, talking to weird aliens, not understanding their language, and mining resources for upgrades.
Well, that's at the moment. That's what it is still. But I think there's just more stuff.
So there's more end gamey.
Have you got into like spacefaring yet, or are you still like going from planet to planet?
What do you mean? Like I've been traveling through space to get to other planets, and then traveling to different systems with the warp drive.
So there's like I've never got this far in the game. So, but I know that there's like there's space stations.
I am.
There's outlaws. There's like space battles now. There's all kinds of really cool.
I will say the game's so huge that even though I've been playing it for about 10 hours over the last 10 weeks.
Yeah, you're early.
I'm still like, I feel like I'm still in like tutorial stage.
Yeah. It gets way crazier when you get out into the deep space.
Because like people, I've seen stuff online of like you can create your own community with a monorail and all this stuff, which I'm not even close to.
When the game first came out, they're like, it's a multiplayer game. If you and your friend are in the same spot, you'll see each other. And then they have
like it's so statistically impossible.
Yeah. And then it's like the first day someone did it.
I will say though, I find it kind of it's kind of funny to me that you're a guy who doesn't play online games, and you're playing one of the quintessential space multiplayer games. It is not quite an MMO, but you're halfway there. So you will be playing with other people at some point. You will see them on space stations and stuff potentially. I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah, but basically...
They tricked you into playing an MMO, James.
True, but it's a game I always wanted to play because isn't it cool that you can get in your spaceship, fly to any planet, land, and walk around the whole planet and then get in your spaceship? Like, it's just a cool concept. Yeah. And when it came out, obviously it didn't live up to expectations. Now they've kind of fixed it. And now there's Starfield, which is the more realistic, kind of cool sci-fi shooter version.
That's one of those games I'm going to book like a week of leave off work.
Yeah.
And just play.
I'm going to do that for Scorn. I'm just taking a week off and just playing weird horror.
H.R. Geiger-esque horror.
But
High on Life as well. That should be on your radar.
Oh, yeah. We talked about it off air. Yeah. That is probably...
Man. The guns talk to you in... made by, what's his name?
Justin Roiland,
Yeah, of Rick and Morty fame.
Yeah, did you play his last game, Trover Saves the Universe?
No.
It was hilarious. It's the funniest thing.
No, I never got into it because did that start as VR?
It starts VR, but then they released it on the Switch as non-VR, which is when I finally played it, and it's hilarious. It's such a fun game. It's so good. Yeah, but his new game looks great. That
looks amazing. Guns talk to you and they make jokes. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah, and there's like the Resident Evil 4 remake coming out. There's Resident Evil 5, the Gold Edition, which I'm excited because I didn't get to play Resident Evil 5 when it came out. There's Callisto Protocol. Callum, did you see that?
Yeah, the Dead Space reimagining.
I.e. not Dead Space.
Yes, not Dead Space.
Kind of Dead Space from the people who brought you Dead Space.
Yeah.
And there's like new Warhammer games. Stalker 2's coming out.
They're trying to re-release the original Stalker games on console allegedly.
Oh, I'd be interested in that.
I guess because the war in Ukraine and stuff like that, Stalkers had setback after setback and delay after delay, and I think they've sort of pivoted focus a little bit to do something constructive. And the rumors are that they're remastering and trying to release console versions of Stalker just to get people kind of back in the universe. Which because I played it a little bit, but I never really played it. And to go back and play it hopefully like enhanced on a modern console, would be a great time.
Because it's such a PC, game that I just never played it, and if it came to consoles, that would be perfect for me.
Yeah, and it's also a really good idea in the lead up to the new Stalker game, especially if there's delays because of what's happening.
Because it is a continuation of the story.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good idea, and I'm excited for Stalker.
And there's a System Shock remake as well.
I believe I want to see it.
Remaster.
Yeah.
Which that's
been coming out for like 10 years. Continue.
And those are just the cool like sci-fi shooter games that I'm interested in, but there are so many other games coming out. And then it's just
you got to find the time.
I just got to find the time and like prioritize. I think there are certain TV shows where I'm just like, you know what, I just won't watch it.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do, James?
Yeah.
You need to be an RPG gamer, because then it's just disappointment. Apart from Xenoblade 3, which has just come out, which is apparently getting rave reviews.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is underappreciated.
Yeah.
One is
three,
underappreciated.
The 3's just come out, and everyone's making waves about that. But I'm like, from my perspective, there's not a whole lot going on this year, because Forspoken, which was Square Enix's new IP, that was releasing the same week as God of War 3, so Square Enix was like, nope, pushing it to January. Final Fantasy 16 was allegedly supposed to come out this year. No indication. Nobody knows when it's going to come out. Probably next year. Yeah. So I got nothing. Apart of course, I'll be playing Scorn. I'll be playing all these games. But as someone who's interested in what Square has to offer,
Square has its own issues. Maybe we'll talk about that after.
But that's it's like that's like I said, these are the games I'm interested in, and for someone like you, there's like all these games that I'm interested
in all the Xbox games that are coming out, but like the games that have been on my radar for a long time, I'm like, they're all getting delayed now.
Scorn is on Games Pass, so just throw the $2 in there.
No, I want to give the developers all my money. I want to.
It's alright. Microsoft probably paid for the whole development anyway.
Yeah,
that's also true. They for these AAA games, they get like. I've seen developers on Twitter talk about how well compensated they are.
I don't think it was a AAA game. It was like a small studio indie game originally.
Especially with the small studios. I've seen people on Twitter like when they say, "Oh, Games Pass is bad for the industry. That's why Sony won't do it." Blah blah blah. And so, like, actually, indie developers responded with. I mean, he's like, as someone who has benefited from Game Pass, I don't agree, because Microsoft literally paid for the development and production of this entire game just for releasing it on Game Pass. That's not exclusivity. So I can still buy it on other platforms if I want, or PC or whatever. But to have it on Game Pass, sure, pay me the entire cost of my 2 years of having lived through this experience.
Well, yeah, like I mean, from an economic perspective, right? Let's just say your game costs, and I'm going to lowball real hard. We'll say $300,000, right? If you're an indie developer. And then Microsoft are like, sure, here's $500,000. And you're like, sure, it can be an Xbox exclusive, but then the money Xbox would make from having this stable, if you will, of indie titles that you can only get on Games Pass is eventually they're going to generate more money for Xbox than it did to bankroll the game.
Well, eventually. The whole thing is, as well as these developers also said, it enables us to take risks and make games that are a little bit more dangerous economically or business. Like, they're not all just conforming to the same, we'll say, trending gaming niche. Right? Like, it's all that kind of stuff as well. Or it's like, if gamers know, like, if Games Pass will pick this up, I can take a few more risks. I can do things a little bit differently because I'm not worrying about like where my next meal's going to come from. So I can spend 2 years of my life working on this, knowing that it's already been paid for.
It's having a wealthy benefactor as an artist.
You even look at Obsidian. Everyone's like, "Oh, please come out with X, Y, or Z game," and they're like, "Nah, Pentiment." And I'm like, and that's they're a AAA studio. They're making a weird indie title. It's like a medieval RPG, but it's like the artwork is like medieval scroll style, and it looks really weird and interesting.
It looks good.
It looks really engaging.
It's really weird, and this is what I'm talking about. Weird, interesting.
And they're a AAA studio.
More AAA studios need to be working on weirder games because games are boring.
I know a lot of people like that looks dumb. Why are they wasting their time? I'm sitting there like, yes, like give me your art house video games.
Because video games have become a lot like movies, where it's just like, in movies you only get mainstream is like superhero movies and like kids animated movies. And it's the same with video games. It's like mainstream AAA video games.
Yeah.
It's like sports games and
COD,
like COD
yeah.
shooters, and it's just like
And GTA for
boring.
the 10th time.
Yeah, that's
the
the
same
other thing.
GTA.
That's the other thing. Talking about risks, right? It's like, why haven't we had a new Grand Theft Auto story expansion outside of an online mode? Why haven't we had
Yeah.
a new
They were
Grand Theft Auto game?
supposed to. When GTA
because
5
shark
came out.
cards make $100 million a year. Sorry,
Billion
guys,
dollars, sir.
$1 billion a year. Sorry, $100 million a month.
Yeah.
My bad.
When GTA 5 came out, it was supposed to have a single player expansion. When
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when Red Dead Redemption 2 was supposed to have a story expansion. None of that happened because there's too much money online.
Yeah, it's complacency.
Yeah,
It's like we don't need to work hard when we're already earning $100 million a month
Yeah.
off online.
that's the mainstream.
It's the same thing recently with Diablo Immortal on phones.
Oh
Or
yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
It's like it's made
People-
100. It's
yeah.
how much has it made? Some crazy figure. It made like
the
100
first,
collective-
it was either the first week or the first month. It made $100 million.
Yeah, collectively, the gaming community was like, "No, this sucks. Never. This is the worst practice." But mainstream audiences, most
Yeah, and
gamers
it's-
would fold, and it's made them more money than God.
It's like
so,
World of Warcraft is not having a good time right now.
Yeah.
It hasn't had a good time for the last 3 years.
that's what, the only.
And Overwatch is dead essentially.
Yeah.
Even with Overwatch 2, too little, too late.
Yeah.
It's like, we're giving these studios no money to do anything interesting, but Diablo Immortal is making us $100 million a week or whatever it is. It's like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've rambled on enough.
No, that's it's just an interesting time in the industry, like with movies and stuff. Is just like,
I mean,
the only way we're gonna stop this is if people stop spending ungodly amounts of money.
we say all that, but there are kind of smaller, very productive companies, the publishers. Like we got Annapurna, Devolver Digital. Yeah. Some of these other smaller companies that
Annapurna is like the A24 of video games.
Yeah, they release like these really high quality, lower budget games, story focused games. Like we played through the game, was it 12 minutes?
Yes.
Oh, is that the like top down one with Willem Dafoe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And you can play it all in one night.
Yeah.
We had it streamed. I
We
believe.
were playing it on Discord
Yeah.
during the lockdown years.
Yeah.
Having drinks. I believe.
Having drinks, playing it on Discord, and it was a really fun time. And it's like, that game didn't cost $100 million to make.
Yeah.
It didn't cost
But
the world.
It's like to get games like
But it's weird.
that. Yeah, to get games like that. There's a strong indie community.
Following.
And there are many indie games still coming out. But in terms of the AAA studios and the AAA games, it's like with superhero movies, it's completely taken over.
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
only way we're going to get studios to stop doing these predatory loot box and broken games and all that is if people stop paying for them, and they don't. Like, people still pay through the nose to play the new COD game that's just a reskin of the last one.
Oh, we used to talk about this all the time back on the actual Sunrise Arcade show, and we were talking about it. I was talking about it with Alan last night. Kids are going to be gamblers. All these kids.
Yeah, it's
play these games
predatory.
today. We were talking about specifically about one of the local supermarkets has a Harry Potter promotion, right, with collectible.
Oh yeah, I hate those things.
Yeah.
The whole premise is obviously you don't know what you're gonna get. It's always a surprise.
Yeah.
And that's that.
It's the same loot boxy kind of
It's
thing, right?
Dopamine
Yeah,
kind of.
Dopamine
it's like
rush, yeah.
grooming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way,
You get
it's
'em
like, see,
early.
kids, gambling's good.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it's like you teach them early.
yeah. It's the same thing. Like I had a kid at work yesterday. We have a competing promotion with Disney brand. And the other day at work, there was a child who was really upset because they got a girl's item in their mystery thing.
Yeah.
And I gave him another one, right? Because I'm not a monster. And I'm like, that's okay. And then I'll give you another one. I'm like, and the woman was like, but what if it's another girl's one? I'm like, I don't know, right? That's the risk you take. Like, this is the
He has
thing.
to learn.
It's gambling. You
Yeah.
have to learn. You're not going to get a winner every time.
I learned this I learned this very early on when I was
Well, back in
eight or nine.
Back in our day, it was like the $2. Was it you grab thing in the bag and you pull something out? Do you remember?
Oh, you mean you put your coin in the little egg comes
No,
out? The
no.
plastic egg?
What was it? It was like at fairs and stuff. I can't remember what they're called.
I'm
Goodie
feeling
bags?
what James is putting
Yeah,
down.
you know what I'm talking
Goodie
about.
bags?
It's like
Nah.
it was similar to the gumball machines.
Yeah, it's
but
like a gumball
Nah,
machine.
it's
it's
not
with
you've
a
got to put
plastic
$2
egg.
in.
The same
twist
kind of
it,
deal. Yeah.
And you open the egg and you don't know what little
Yeah.
crappy toy you
You're
get.
hoping to get like a Pikachu
Yeah.
or something, and
But-
then you get like a Disney princess, and you're like, damn it.
But
We say that like Kinder Surprises haven't also been a thing.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but Kinder Surprise you get the chocolate, which
That's what
makes up for any disappointment of
It
not
does.
getting the toy.
That
you
chocolate
want.
is something else.
I actually, when I was really little, I kept buying because they had these little humanoid shark characters. They were like there was like one guy with a sword, one like a queen, one with a crown, a king one with a crown, and my parents bought me all these ones, and I like opened them, and I never got the guy with the sword, and I really wanted it, and I wrote a letter to Kinder. And I'm like, please, I bought all these. I was like 6 years old. I was like, please, I bought all these Kinder Surprise. I opened them all. I keep getting like the Princess Jasmine as a shark figure. Like, please, can you give me the sword one? And they sent me the. I still have it.
Nice.
But no, what I was going to say was,
See, I thought this story was going to take a twist. We were like,
He's like James is 25.
Yeah, I was 25 at the
They
time.
never responded. They're just like, piss off, kid.
Yeah.
And that's what you
Cease
learn.
and desist letter. in the
Yeah.
mail,
The world is not a good
They
place.
sue me. No, but I was going to say, it's like, because Pokemon was, Pokemon cards were a big thing when we were in primary school.
Oh, they're still massive.
Oh no, they are. But like, it was a big thing of our formative years.
Yeah.
And I remember I learned early on, I was 8 or 9 or however old. It was like, I always wanted the Charizard because it had the foil, and it was like everyone wanted it. It was like
Yeah.
the big
The
deal.
whole Charizard.
And what your parents buy you the booster packs that you don't know what you're gonna get in the plastic until you open it,
Yeah.
and usually you're disappointed. And my parents would buy me here or there. And then my sister, who has no interest in Pokemon, who has no interest in any sort of sci-fi or monster-related anything, but she was jealous that I was getting Pokemon cards, so she wanted one as well. So my parents bought her one booster pack to shut her up.
And then she gets the
Her
whole
first
Charizard.
one, she opens it, Charizard Holo. I was like, my God. Yeah, I still haven't gotten over it. But now I have that Charizard
I
somewhere.
mean, you didn't con her out of it. That's like step one. When you get a sibling that
No.
doesn't actually care and knows.
No, because you don't know her. She's so stubborn. She didn't even know what she had. But even if I tried to trick her, because it was hers, quote unquote. Even though she didn't want it, she just wanted to spite me. But I've got it now anyway. I mean, not that I'm hoping it's worth something. I haven't.
It only
looked
cost
up.
him. It only cost him $2,000 from some dude in an alleyway.
See, like my cousin's also collect Pokemon cards at this point. He's
Yeah.
8 years old nearly. And the first thing he does when he opens the booster pack is he brings me the holo and the reverse holo,
Yeah.
and then he says, "How much are these worth?"
He's learned. He's learned. He's smart.
So that's literally gambling. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're hoping to get a good card for your $5-10, whatever it is, for the booster pack.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to sell that on. I'm like, just like I remember when Pokemon used to be about the Pokemon, man. Like,
I mean, it's always been a little bit like iffy, but at least you get the cards. You get to own the cards.
Yeah.
In video games, the loot boxes are
yeah, it's
Nothing.
It's nothing.
you're just gambling money on the off
But
chance you
with
might
Web
get.
3, you do get to own it. I'm sorry.
So anyway, the kids are going to be gamblers. We have a
Yeah.
gambling problem.
Yeah, it's.
Oh,
I reckon
especially
the Gen Z is going to have a massive.
Every time we go to the movies, every time we turn on the TV, there's one of those sports bet ads, and I hate them. And they're predatory, and they're preying on vulnerable people, not just obviously not kids in this case, but I think Australia, there's a big problem with that people don't talk
There's
about.
a huge problem with gambling here. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just swept under the rug because I guess
It makes a lot of money.
it makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like we have a huge anti-smoking campaign, right?
Yeah.
We allow plain packaging. We were the pioneers of that. Working hard. We have pretty strong, anti-drink drive, that kind of stuff. We have very, very strong taxes on liquor itself.
Yeah.
So when you think of
But
that,
even in terms of drinking, I think, even though there is a campaign for that, like I feel like we have a drinking problem.
we
in
have a
Australia
drink
as
problem,
well.
but it's much worse elsewhere.
Yeah.
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 You
The,
can use
the
it on
human
that.
race, the human race has a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Which
can you blame
Europe in
them?
general.
I was
Yeah.
saying,
America.
Yeah.
Look out the window.
Mexico.
But yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, Alan. What have you been playing recently?
So, I've actually been playing a lot. I've been playing a bit of Fall Guys, because they've made some changes. Now it's gone free to play. That's brought in a huge amount of players.
Yeah, but they did it in a really annoying way, didn't they?
They did. They basically, whatever things kind of that you put together as a paid player, your money or whatever collections like are worthless almost. There's a new currency now that everyone has to buy, and you literally have to buy it with money.
Yeah.
So you and all you get for being a person that paid for the game originally is one season of the battle pass or whatever it is. So like that, I definitely don't appreciate. But the fact that there's a ton more players, there's new game modes and stuff, that's definitely quite an enjoyable experience overall. So I've been having a bit of fun with that.
I don't know why they couldn't just make it that you can buy a season pass and that's it. You know, like it feels so greedy to me that you have to buy the currency and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, you've already made money on Fall Guys.
Yeah.
Make a battle pass that you have to buy that you can, because do you know how battle passes work?
Yes, it's like is it the same as a season pass?
So a battle pass, more or less, but just for people who might not be aware, a battle pass is a system where by doing certain activities within the game, you earn experience, and then
as you level up,
you get rewards.
Oh, okay.
So there's two different tracks, if you will, in a battle pass. The first track is the free track, which people who don't pay, they get experience, they can unlock rewards, lesser rewards. But if you pay for the premium track, if you want to call it that way, which is like usually underneath or above.
Yeah.
They'll make sure you know what you're missing out on.
Yeah, because you can see the rewards for both tracks.
Yeah.
So you can see that you're missing out on really cool stuff on the ones that paid players have.
Yeah.
And so usually there's pop-ups to say, oh, you could have got this. Do you want to buy it now and catch up? And so like that. But that's usually enough for these games to make money. You know what I mean? All you're doing is paying $10 for a battle pass, and you're just playing the game as you normally would, which is supporting the development of the game.
Yeah.
This is going to sound, I guess, maybe a little politically incorrect considering the gambling problem we have.
Yeah.
But I generally support free-to-play games with a battle pass. Because as long as you're not making it easier for players to win, it's, more or less... And I should say that these games usually only have cosmetic items anyway.
Cosmetic,
it's usually just only cosmetics anyway.
But with the battle pass at least, you're usually all unlocking the same items most of the time.
Correct.
As you progress. So it's not a surprise.
Yeah. You know what's ahead, so you can see 50 levels.
Yeah, you can decide whether it's
ahead.
You can see what you're spending your money on.
I do not agree with allowing people to buy individual levels of a battle pass though, because that does, in my opinion, get too close to what they call whales territory, which is like where really rich people can buy all the gear, all the stuff.
So we mentioned Diablo Immortal before. Yeah.
So that's the one let down.
When you have people spending like 50,000 real money dollars
to get one specific gem, and there's not even the chance to get a gem.
The chance to get a specific gem to level up.
There was a guy who spent $100,000
and he
to
didn't
get a
get
specific item. He didn't even get it.
Yeah.
But my point is, battle passes aren't inherently bad, and I wish Fall Guys hadn't had such a convoluted, money-grabbing way of releasing it for free. Because it's like free games. There's always a catch somewhere.
It's a slippery slope. It's like we were talking about gambling. The Fortnite. With the battle passes.
It's free to download.
Yeah, it's free to download, and I guess mostly it's cosmetic. The things you're buying, so you're not paying to win, but still, it's like a billion-dollar industry of kids.
Yeah.
Just spending more and more on this crap. And it's concerning.
Definitely concerning. And we'll see the after effects of that once we have, the biggest gambling, problem that the world has ever seen, probably.
Well, if it makes some rich guy money, then probably they won't do anything about it.
But everyone's bankrupt.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of like what we were just talking about earlier, and with movies as well, as it's like, as long as it's making them more money, then it's not only bad for people, it's unhealthy, but it's also bad for the art form. Like we said, all mainstream AAA studios and video games are all either the same generic crap or broken, buggy messes that they just release, or but people pay for them, they make money, and so we're not getting the movies and games that we should be getting.
And anything that EA gets their hands on is, first priority is monetize as much as possible. And when that's your first priority, you're not going to make a good game. That's just a fact. Did they have ads? in the NBA game or something.
They did.
Yeah. So it's just going to get worse.
Ouchie.
Because
You
people...
pay $80 for a game to have ads.
But that's a whole other topic with EA. The fact that they basically just release the same game every year with updated jerseys.
And you pay $80 for the base game, but then you got to spend another 100 to 200 on all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really bad practice. But like I said, people keep doing it. People keep spending money on it, and so they keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, on a better note, there was a little bit of good news today. Apparently, what's the company who owns Deus Ex?
Embracer Group.
Yeah, Embracer Group allegedly have plans to reboot the Deus Ex series of games, or at least make a sequel to the last one, which is interesting because we talked about Cyberpunk off air when that was the whole thing, about how Deus Ex had to die so Cyberpunk could fail to launch. And like the differences between the two. And I was like, I was talking to Nathan before the show, how Deus Ex is a much better example of a Cyberpunk series than... Deus Ex is a better example than Cyberpunk, I should say. I'm slipping out my words. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens if that is officially confirmed and they actually start development and actually get the ball rolling, because Cyberpunk by and large hasn't had any competition since it was basically like close to release, because Deus Ex got burned.
It's interesting because...
And they still haven't, I should say, Cyberpunk still haven't delivered on the promises that they announced.
That's what I was going to say.
There's no expansions, there's not even a new game plus.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? How long ago did Cyberpunk come out? There's not even a new game plus anymore. At the moment, I should say.
Before Cyberpunk 2077 came out, we were like singing CD Projekt Red's praises. We were like, can't wait for this game. It's going to be epic. This is going to be the best sci-fi game ever made. So excited.
Yeah.
And it came out. You know, CD Projekt Red is like other...
especially after The Witcher 3.
Yeah. Witcher 3 was like phenomenon. Then Cyberpunk 2077 came out. It was a broken mess. I didn't even play it. Look, you guys played it and said it was okay.
Yeah, no, look,
but it didn't live up to expectations.
I mean, we also played it on the most optimal kind of way.
We might have talked about this on the show at some point, but we were very lucky to have Series X's to play it on. The issue with Cyberpunk was that it never should have been released for last gen devices. Consoles, It just shouldn't have been. I've seen people argue back and forth for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't perform on them. It shouldn't have been released on them. If they had made it a next gen title exclusively, there'd be 1/3 of the negative press. Because all of the people playing it would have been playing it on appropriate hardware.
Yeah, a lot of games, and Cyberpunk is a perfect example. No Man's Sky as well, when it first came out. A lot of games, they overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah.
If you're going to say, oh, there's 100 people on screen and the crowds are huge and every person looks different and you can drive anywhere you want and there's no loading times, you have to live up to that. Yeah. You can't release the game and there's like 2 NPCs and they both look the same.
God forbid.
And you can't walk anywhere without it loading for 10 minutes.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Right? Because keep in mind, a lot of people, it's like blockbuster movies. A lot of people only want the big explosions and the fancy graphics, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And if you tell them there's 100 NPCs and no loading times, they'll be like, awesome, I'm going to pre-order it right now.
Yeah.
But be honest with people.
There's a disconnect between the developers and the publishers. The publisher wants to get those deposits down. Get the pre-orders, make as much money as possible, sell the game by telling lies. The developers are trying their hardest to make the best game they can with the resources they can, and this is what happens, is where you lose a lot of faith in people. And we talked about CD Projekt Red, how they're such a great company, and then this came out and we were like, well, they have the same problems as all the other studios. They have crunch time problems, and they have...
There's often a disconnect between publishers and developers, especially where a publisher owns a developing studio. So if you take Fable, for example, the reboot Fable... I don't know whether they were forced to or if they made a stupid decision to actively use Forza Horizon's engine to make an RPG, but it turns out it wasn't that great of an idea. It's not working as well as they thought it would, so they had to respec. So they're changing their technology because the driving simulator games weren't great for RPGs, who would have thought. Now, my assumption, and keep in mind I'm talking out of my ass, I don't know, but my assumption is that the publishers, in this case Microsoft, were like, we've made really great games with
Forza
Horizon's engine.
Yeah.
We want you to try and use that because we see value in it. And the developers are like, I guess. Happened with BioWare, with Mass Effect Andromeda. They had to use an FPS engine to make
Frostbite.
Yeah, they had to use an FPS engine to make a third world action adventure game. And I'll be honest, it's like the worst game in the franchise. Because they were told to use technology that they weren't really...
Did you play Andromeda?
I did, a little bit, yeah.
I finished it. It's not as bad as people say.
I say it's the worst
Nathan,
of the...
you have
No.
taste.
No. I say it's the worst game in the series, not as a shot at Andromeda, but the original trilogy of Mass Effect games are so amazing that...
It didn't live up.
It's actually not a bad game.
No, yeah. I think it's important to keep perspective. It was, in my opinion... It is the worst of the lot.
Yeah.
Not because it's a bad game, but because it doesn't... you can tell that the engine was a bit
I
iffy.
do remember it came out. It was a disaster. People were like, what is
it?
It
Was jank.
Yeah.
It's not the actual story. It got fixed.
Yeah.
The problem...
My point is, it's like it's like movies we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Publishers or studio execs, whatever you want to term them, have their own ideas about what's going to make a great game, and they force developers to do it. And then developers just have to do the best they can with what they're provided.
Yeah.
The real problem with Andromeda is that it didn't get finished. There was meant to be DLC that finished the storyline that just never got developed. Because the game tanked on release because of technical issues.
They're making another one though, aren't they?
Mass Effect 4, and it's going to be a continuation of Shepard's story and Andromeda. They're mixing it together.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I still have to play those. Maybe I'll play those games. I've got that. That's in my pile of shame, the remastered trilogy.
I will say...
But that's a big time investment. That's why I'm worried about.
It is, but playing the remastered trilogy it's the closest thing to like playing it again for the first time.
Well, I've never played them before, so this is the perfect opportunity.
You're in for a treat. No, I can't tell you honestly. If I were you, just start number 1.
Yeah.
See, it's a big old space opera. It hits all the notes. It's the one of the most beautiful RPG franchises ever made.
Yeah.
If I could erase my memory of Mass Effect and play it all again, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Incredible.
What else
franchise.
you playing, Callum?
I'm trying to get through the Mass Effect games, and that's interesting. I had a bit of burnout on that because I wanted to explore the gigantic map before I started the story. So I had all the warp points.
Okay.
And I did that. It took me a long time. I'm a different man now. It took me a long time because it's like it took me like 100 hours to uncover just the whole map.
Yeah.
But I'm slugging through that. I've been playing some Elden Ring. That's hard but fun, rewarding, but hard. That's about it really. I'm a simple man. I play Final Fantasy Online.
Yeah.
I play Assassin's Creed. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm a boring dude for video games at the moment. Yeah. All my projects were delayed. What can I do? All the ones I was interested in.
You're looking forward to. Yeah.
Anyone else got anything for the table?
No.
The last thing I had was the Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League. Was that originally promised for 2022?
I don't know. Let's go to Google.
Well, right now it's showing Q1, Q2, 2023. That was something that really did intrigue me. I played a bit of the Arkham games, had some fun with it, but playing, I guess, on the Suicide Squad side against, a corrupted, a corrupted Justice League against Brainiac and everyone else. That seems like a fun idea.
It has the potential to be good, but I don't know. It didn't look to. I don't think it will live up to my expectations. People might love it, but I don't know. We'll see. It's still early. Like they haven't really shown.
No, they haven't really shown much. I think they've shown a bit more of what was it, Gotham Knights?
Yeah.
That one also.
That looks good.
With the Suicide Squad one. I don't know if this is the same for Gotham Knights. It's co-op 4-player.
Yes.
So that
get yourself an Xbox.
I'll get it.
No one's PC is going to keep up with you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a $4,000 PC over
$6,000 PC.
Pardon me.
Jesus.
One thing
so it's like you have to come down to our level. You know that.
I can't afford an Xbox. I spend all my money on the PC.
So a while ago, I used to rebel him about getting nauseous playing virtual reality.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hooked up our Oculus Quest 2 to my PC. So when you connect the Oculus Quest 2 to a PC, it turns into an Oculus Rift.
Okay.
Which is one of the really smart things that Facebook has done, where they've developed.
Meta, thank you very much.
Yeah, I didn't want to use Meta. It's Facebook. We all know it. Yeah. One of the really intelligent things is they made I guess you'd call it a middle grade VR headset, but when you connect it to your computer with a special cable, it turns into a high-end headset. So someone like Alan, for example, he could just buy a couple peripherals for it, and then he doesn't have to go out and spend $1,500 on a headset. He can instead spend like $500. So anyway, I connect it to my mid computer. You know, it's not that great. Anyway, I decided to play VR chat, and because Nathan was telling me, why don't you connect it to your computer instead? Because when you play VR chat as a standalone with the headset, some levels don't load correctly. Because you don't have the resources to like display some of the graphics and blah blah blah. So anyway, I played. I found a level where there's like lots of cars you can drive around or whatever, and I crashed a couple. But then I went in all the NPCs look like chickens. So a chicken comes down in a helicopter, and I get in the helicopter, and so I'm like, it's taking me on a tour around the city. But because it's like really high fidelity, I started to feel nauseous. I said to Alan, I'm like, I'm sorry, Alan, I understand. I nearly threw up.
You got the motion sickness.
Yeah, I got the motion sickness because I'm looking out and the city's passing, and I got such a terrible headache.
The brain doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like I can't use VR very much because honestly, it gives me eye aches and headaches.
We talked about it once on quite a few years ago, where it's just like I'm not a big believer in it. Then my friend Damien, I tried his and I thought it was really cool. But yeah, other than after an hour or two, I was like, nah, it's too much.
Yeah, because I find that I get headaches, right? For me, it's like I can only use it at half an hour at a time.
Yeah.
But I used it for like 3 hours and I was done. I had such a bad headache.
I'm not writing it off. Like, it's still in its infancy, and like in the future, I think it'll be a big thing.
But I don't know how they're going to get past the fact that you're having a bright screen just
right
so
in front
close
of
to
your
your
eyes.
eyes.
Up against your eyes, yeah.
Like, I don't see that as not being bad for you.
It's funny, isn't it? When we look at Cyberpunk, how Cyberpunk handle virtual realities, most of the time it's either a headset or like a really complicated headset with cables everywhere, or it's like a jack into the brain. Like,
well, that or
like, it avoids the
like Black Mirror episodes and other sci-fi.
Avoids the eye strain.
You put a little dot on your forehead and it just beams it into your brain or beams it into your eye receptor or whatever. So. Who knows?
It should be Futurama style where they put the iPhone in your eye. Just clip it in.
Or isn't there a Simpsons episode where it's set in the future where he gets a ray gun and he puts it to his head and you think he's going to commit suicide, but he just beams television into his brain?
Might be. But that'll be a whole other topic, I think. There'll be kids permanently plugged into, the verse.
Oh, that's another thing. We need to look at what we'll say longer term studies are going to see about kids using VR.
Yeah,
because with developing
eye development, brain development
from the young. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's
probably studies now.
I mean, this might just be like the boomer in me, but I'm pretty sure I've read, like kids now are all like their spines are all curved because they're always looking down at their phones. Like, I'm pretty sure that's a thing and not just a boomer Facebook meme.
And the attention spans of people are getting shorter as well because like TikTok's only like 10-second videos and stuff, and
which is weird. Maybe we'll talk about this on a proper Tuesday review. It's weird because a lot of like Netflix shows are like, like the last Stranger Things episode was like 2.5 hours long. So it's interesting how this stream, because of the streaming, they're not making shorter episodes, they're making longer episodes, but I guess the way you can consume it, you can consume it on your phone in small snippets, maybe.
I feel it's you
can consume in the background. I think a lot of people watch shows in the background, like a lot of kids just have like YouTube on their phone and something on the TV, at the same time.
Disgusting.
And which
I'll play my Switch and have the news on in the background.
That's news. That's different. But you wouldn't put on The Godfather and then start playing
and then say somebody
Untitled Goose Game.
But like
the Goose Father.
Because back in my day, when the TV came on and the show was there, you used to watch it. And if you didn't miss it, you missed it. It's too bad. There's no VOD and stuff. The kids these days just have it too easy. A lot of them haven't been beaten. It really shows. But more seriously,
we've gone full boomer.
But more seriously, like there are issues that will be happening, in the future as a result of, I guess, where all industries are going. It's not just the entertainment industries. It's grocery stores. That are pushing this sorts of thing. I lost my train of thought.
Gambling.
I think it was to do with gambling. But you guys go on. I'll come back to it.
No, I think we're done.
I think we're pretty much done. Yeah. We'll just wait here in silence while Alan thinks about what he was going to say.
We're all getting old. Give him a moment.
I've got COVID brain now. But yeah, no, I came back to it. I feel, as you said, with the TikToks and then with, I guess, binge content.
Yeah.
You can call it. There's almost like we're losing the middle ground of like just regular form content or like regularly timed content where like something's like, let's say half an hour long, 60 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's either, 17 seconds or you're going to binge like 8 episodes or something. Like that's kind of where people are going. They can't have that little middle ground. It's either going to be really, really short form content.
Well, YouTube, I think, takes that middle ground. It's like, because it's so diverse in what the uploads are, you can get from your 10-second video all the way up to your 5-hour video.
But most of the time now, people on the YouTube are usually just watching their YouTube Shorts, I think the kids call it.
Yeah.
That's actually, it's something I've, like, because I've never been into streaming, like Twitch, like, I know you guys are into, like, Twitch streaming and stuff, Discord. I'm like, I never understood that because I'm like, so you have to be somewhere at a specific time to watch someone for potentially hours play a game. I understand Let's Plays. Like, sometimes I watch a Let's Play of, like, an hour or two or split into parts of, like, 5 hours. But you can watch that any time.
Yeah.
Like live streaming, I never really understood.
Live streaming is this interesting intersection between video gaming and celebrity culture, basically.
Yeah, that's
so. A lot of the big Twitch streamers.
There's a lot of simping that goes on too.
So a lot of the Twitch streamers
Yeah.
are essentially just celebrities, and what you're doing is
You're basking in their glow.
Yeah,
some of them may or may not sell bathwater.
Yeah, you're paying these people potentially for the opportunity to be recognized by celebrity. Because the notion to a lot of these Twitch people, like if you're in the Twitch ecosystem, a lot of these people, like some of the more famous ones. I'm not a Twitch guy myself. I only know my boy Asmongold. That's the only one I know.
XQC, Most Critical.
These are like celebrity gods to you, and so if you give them $100, they'll be like, oh, thanks, drop bear. And then, you know what I mean? And you're like, wow, he said my online name. That sounds really mean. But it's this interesting intersection between pop culture and video games.
Because I was scratching my head. I'm like, because, as a young person, it's like, what's the appeal of, like, literally sitting down and watching hours of...
Yeah.
But I guess it ties into the Instagram Live...
Exactly. It's like this online celebrity culture.
Influencer culture.
Yeah.
There's also, I think, an important factor to consider that 80 to 90% of the audience is passive, unless something specifically engaging the audience is happening. Like there are games you can play with the entire audience, that kind of thing.
Jackbox.
Yeah, most of the time they're all passive, and they've usually got that whole thing
on the background.
Yeah, on the background. Then there's that 10 to 20% that's actually engaged, that are trying to get their name written on the banana inside the hot tub or whatever, that sort of stuff.
They're trying to get something out of it. But I guess it's interesting because like there's always worth in a background thing because you don't want to just do something in silence.
In our day it was the Weather Channel.
Yeah, but exactly, it's just like I listen to podcasts when I'm washing the dishes or whatever, so like I don't believe in background content because I'm like, if you watch a show you should be watching the show.
Yeah
Unless it's like a rerun of like an old Friends episode. You're not really paying attention. You can just have that on, but
no soup.
Otherwise,
come back in 3 weeks.
Otherwise,
Wrong
I'm
show.
like, you should be engaging.
He said Seinfeld.
Oh, okay.
He said Seinfeld. Yeah.
Apologize.
No, but yeah. Like, otherwise, I think you should be watching and engaging it properly and not.
Especially video content, like streaming services. Most directors make something to be consumed directly. It's not like I can't imagine a director would make something like, I don't care if people watch it or not. It's just it is what it is. Most people they make things to be consumed.
Well, I mean, it's just how it's consumed is the point I'm trying to make. Is I feel like a lot of people is like on your phone or on the background or like half paying attention.
Then are you really consuming the content?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
Claim to have
how many people said, "Oh, Stranger Things, Squid Game is the best show." But how
much
many
did
of
they actually
them
watch? Yeah,
actually paid attention and weren't just in it for the memes or weren't just in it because everyone else at school was watching it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about young people these
Oh,
days.
no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
saying, but you know
We
what
had-
I mean.
we had
Like,
our- we had our-
yes, we have.
as a hipster.
We had our own issues
film
growing up. I
lover.
think
Like, because we're singing the Squid Game song and they're all trying to play the Squid Game. I'm
they're
like,
too young to watch it.
exactly. I'm like, do you know what this game's about, sir? Just
It's a scathing
it's-
commentary on capitalism. That's what it's
I
about.
Yeah.
Surprise on you when they replied back in perfect Korean.
Yeah. I think it's interesting though. It's like, you know, influencer culture and meme culture and movies and TV shows as just pure content. It's all just one melting pot.
At this point, meme culture is a god in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was able to get Morbius re-released in
Yeah.
the cinemas as a goof,
I feel like the reason most shows are popular is because like social media, it's trending.
Yeah, well,
and
you-
not because people actually enjoy watching the show.
I'm sure you
or
heard about
are
the,
engaged with the story.
the movement to go and see the new Minions movie in Suits.
yes, Gentle Minions.
Oh yeah.
And like the fact that like Batgirl can get cancelled, but Morbius can be released twice in the cinemas is a joke to me.
I'm not even releasing
I
it
know
on
he was.
streaming. We'll save that for something.
We'll save that for.
I know
Maybe
he
we
was,
should end it because we're getting into like a
he
whole.
was gonna
choose
morb,
their
but, you know,
review.
come on.
Morb is gonna morb.
Yeah, all right. I think that's it, everybody. I mean, this is a Tuesday review.
This
so
was an
we'll-
Sunrise
impromptu.
Sunrise Arcade Tuesday.
Sunrise
Yeah,
Arcade
we
Tuesday
don't know
review
when
crossover.
we're gonna release it, so
It's
it might
one-
drop in a weird place. It's early August now. We might drop in September or something. I don't know.
We'll
Who
see
knows
what
what
happens.
happens.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Please like and share the Tuesday Review Facebook page, the Twitter, the Instagram, on all the socials. You can catch us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen.
Listen, yeah.
Adios, cousins.